In the previous video, I talked about how someone hacked my website. This resulted in downtime. While people were able to access the site after a few days, it took a bit longer before I could publish stuff again. In all, I was unable to work on my site between November 12th through to the 28th. Now, efforts to silence me is not exactly anything new. I've had powerful lobbyists and executive types try to silence me through the threat of what is known as a strategic lawsuit against public participation. This is otherwise known as a SLAPP lawsuit. This is where potential litigants weaponize defamation laws to try and silence speech they don't agree with. In all, to my knowledge, this has happened 3 times to me. Indeed, with all 3 of these threats, there wasn't actually anything I did wrong. In one instance, the complaint was that quoting someone constitutes defamation. It doesn't take a law expert to point out that this is not how any of this works. Unfortunately, however, I live in Canada where there is basically a double threat against the victims of SLAPP lawsuits. First, we live in a legal system where justice largely only serves the ultra-wealthy. If you are a wealthy person, you can have justice work alongside you. If you are not an ultra-wealthy individual, however, then it is unlikely that you'll be able to get a whole lot in terms of justice, at least as far as a SLAPP lawsuit is concerned. Second, Canada has unreformed defamation laws. Without getting too much into the weeds, since this is about my website getting hacked, the long story short is that the accused is basically always guilty regardless of the merits of the complaint. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's generally the gist of it. In other words, I was simply unable to fight against the complaints for the simple reason that the law in the legal system is decidedly one-sided. There were, of course, other efforts to silence me through other means. This includes sabotaging links on social media, possible backroom deals to block my domain on some sites, and several other methods to ensure my silence. This so that I would be unable to make valid points about certain debates surrounding technology. Throughout all this, though, this marks the first time someone went to the extreme measure of hacking my site to try and take me out. Unfortunately, this also happens to be the most mysterious to me as well. I don't know who did it or what their motives were. Whether this was because I was pointing out that age verification technology is abysmal, explaining the many flaws of generative AI technology, advocating for privacy reform, offering actual honest reviews for video games as opposed to just getting paid to hand out perfect scores, or a different reason completely, I really don't know. All I know is that there are a lot of people out there with a lot of money who want me to stop pointing out the man behind the curtain. And plenty of people out there have the means to carry this sort of attack out. Regardless, whoever tried to shut me up ran into a problem I doubt they knew they were running into. That problem was the problem of bad timing. Over the last several years, I have been working on building a massive investment portfolio to, in part, start financing my website. The day before I found out I was hacked, I was actually looking into different ways I could invest my money into the site to increase the site's reach and, I kid you not, beefing up the security of the website itself. Yes, the money was already earmarked for different projects to improve the site. This is why I was able to react so quickly to patch the site up. Granted, I was planning on taking that money and investing it towards somewhat different things, but I was able to take that money and hire a team of people to have the site cleaned up from the malicious coding. This while they patched whatever security vulnerabilities that could be found. Thank you to the team that did that work. Once that task was completed, I also took additional measures to help fortify the security of the site as well. While there is no such thing as perfect security, the bar was raised to deter others from trying to do the same thing in the future. So, what have I been doing behind the scenes throughout the downtime? Well, I never actually stopped writing. What I was able to do was write my articles in text files. The reason why I chose text files was because I was using the technique of coding HTML by hand like I have been doing with the site itself. This way, all I had to do was switch to code editor, paste the code, and I would immediately have a fully formatted article to publish. All I needed to do afterwards was add a picture and some metadata and I was good to go. So when the backend was accessible to me again, that's what I spent my time doing. I backdated all the articles to when they were technically supposed to be published. This way, the only evidence that something went wrong was a post on the site itself giving hackers the proverbial middle finger. Well, that and 2 videos on YouTube. I know it took a little longer to produce this video as a follow-up, but yes, Freezenet is back. I will continue to produce high-end analysis of the big news stories of the day. I will continue to produce great reviews about video games. What's more, I fully intend on continuing to produce video content as well. I know this probably won't be the last time someone tries to silence me. They know my reasoning is on rock solid foundation. Why else would they resort to such desperate measures like sending legal threats my way? They know they can't win on the court of public opinion, and they know they can't win through basic dialogue. So they grow increasingly militant to silence my voice. This because their worldview is so wildly departed from reality and cannot survive as long as my voice exists to poke through the deceptions that they produce. If this isn't an endorsement that I'm on the right track with things, I don't know what is. As an added bonus, I can also say that the hackers lost as well. Anyway, I'm moving along to the next thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more great news efforts, feel free to subscribe for more. If you want to help support me, feel free to drop a like. If you want to further support the channel, you can check out my Patreon page or Ko-fi page. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.